into the storm environment right now.
Her name is Irene. She's angry. This storm will make landfall. We just don't know where, how strong, and when.
It's going to start getting bumpy.
The only way to answer those questions is to put our crews in the center of that hurricane. How is this even possible?
Grab on to something and hold on for dear life.
All right, here we go. Oh, my God.
Let's go find another storm.
When the most intense storms Mother Nature ever created threaten to wreak havoc, that's when the hurricane hunters go to work.
We were flying into the most intense weather Mother Nature has created.
Be advised, we may experience a little bump.
All right, here we go.
Biloxi, Mississippi is home to the Air Force's 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, better known as the Hurricane Hunters.
We're the only squadron in the world that routinely flies through hurricanes.
What we're doing is very uncommon for a pilot in aviation. We were flying into the most intense weather that Mother Nature has created.
In our weather mission we have here, we have 10 WC-130Js. 130s have 4-bladed props. The J model have 6-bladed props, which produce more torque, more thrust, and they're able to fly longer, faster, higher. It's pretty awesome. They're like flying Jeeps.
All right, Devlin and I fly first, crosses on deck.
This season, the Hurricane Hunters will be led by Lieutenant Colonel Sean Pierce. It's his first year as Director of Operations.
It's my job to make sure that we can get those airplanes and those crews into the storm on time, every time. Today is my first flight into a major hurricane. This is a new experience for me. I've had my share of combat missions around the world, flying C-17s, for example, in Afghanistan. And in the traditional combat environment, there are rules of engagement. There are things that are within your control. Here, in this mission, you're placing yourself into an environment where you're simply not in control. My crew today is Shane Devlin, John Talbot, our weather officer, Mike Anderson, our navigator, and Ed Scherzer, who is our loadmaster and drop zone operator.
All right, line-up checklist is complete. We're clear for takeoff.
The first time I went into a named storm, I was anxious. I thought it was going to be catastrophic. The wings may fall off. You just picture that. You see the devastation that takes place on the ground. That's what you have to go on.
This is a new frontier for me. With that comes a little bit of anxiety just for the unknown. Each storm has its own personality, and although there's been thousands of penetrations accomplished by this squadron alone, this is a new one today. This is a new environment. It will present its own new and unique set of challenges.
1,600 miles away over the Bahamas is Pierce's target, Hurricane Irene.
We know that this storm will impact the eastern seaboard of the U.S. We don't know where or how intense the storm will be, but that storm will make landfall, and our job is to answer those questions.
We're going to go out there and fly into Irene today and fix where the storm center is and hopefully improve and update the model forecast of where we're going to see the storm go in the next couple days.
Currently, computer models project dozens of potential paths for Irene. The result? A 460-mile wide cone of uncertainty.
The only way for us to narrow the cone of uncertainty from 400 miles to 50 miles or better is to put our crews in the center of that hurricane. Satellites cannot gather that data. That's what we do, is we fix, and that's the term we use, fix the center of the eye. Everything revolves around that.
One of the communities that's in Irene's potential path is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
What's it, about 200 miles across now?
About 400 miles total. And
2 on each side?
Yeah, so, you know, a 2 to 3 degree variation from where it's at right now
We're in
could
trouble.
make a big problem for us. It's a huge storm.
If it moves any more to the west, we got to start looking at, okay, when do we make the call?
Do we or do we not do evacuations for this storm?
It's a balancing act. Safety is number one. The economy is number two.
It's a $40 million a day effect on our economy to evacuate in Horry County and Myrtle Beach.
The 5 o'clock report is going to determine, is are we going to be okay?
We're at 25,000 feet. We're en route to the storm environment right now. Any updates on the storm weather? Intensity is maybe Cat 3, so wind's about 100 knots, pressure at 950. Now we'll know when we get there what we're up against. It'll be fun, you'll enjoy it.
What's on my mind is, what is she going to look like? How aggressive is this going to be?
This is Colonel Pierce's first flight into a hurricane. But the Hurricane Hunters program has been flying missions just like this for almost 70 years.
The first person really to prove that you could fly through a hurricane was a gentleman named Joe Duckworth, and it was during the 1944-ish time frame. He actually flew out over the Gulf of Mexico and miraculously made it into the middle of a hurricane. Back in the 40s, 50s, early 60s, they were flying basically by the seat of their pants. They didn't have radar like we do now. There's been some airplanes over the years that have been lost in hurricanes, but we have a very good safety record in this squadron.
So we're at 14 knots. Starting to pick up. Yeah, looks like a storm ahead. It's going to start getting bumpy in about 8 to 10 miles. Right.
4 hours into the flight, Pierce and his crew have reached Irene's outer bands.
Colonel Pearson's got the aircraft, and it's the rookie's chance to shine.
At this point, we'll be on the southwest point, and then we'll be entering into the storm.
You're going to have a whole bunch of rain band areas just prior to the outer edge of the storm.
Energy building here.
I'm looking at the radar. All I see is a wall of magenta, which indicates severe weather, severe turbulence, all the things that you want to turn all the way around and hightail it out of there.
He looks down and says, "Hey, Shane, should we go around this?" "No, sir. We do exactly what we were trained not to do. We go through the thunderstorm."
How is this even possible?
We're going to do our best. Starting to get cloudy. Ooh, and pop those ears. It's going to start getting bumpy. Be advised, we may experience a little bump here or there.
Here we go.
Hang on. Starting to pick up. Position of the storm. The only way to provide that data is to actually get into the center of it and physically take those measurements.
50 miles off the coast of Florida, Colonel Sean Pierce is flying his first mission as a hurricane hunter. He's about to enter Hurricane Irene's outer edge.
All right, here we go. Energy building here. It's going to start getting bumpy.
I've experienced, moderate turbulence where it gets your attention. This type of turbulence will definitely let you know who's in charge. It makes it clear how little we are and how powerful nature can be.
These are not the real bumps. These are practice bumps. That's right. Here's the outer bands of the storm here. You can see some of the showers popping up. That's a heavy thunderstorm there.
Despite its appearance, a hurricane is not one solid entity. Instead, each hurricane is made up of spiraling bands of intense thunderstorms, ranging from a few miles to tens of miles wide.
of the things we have to be careful of is avoiding these things they call hot towers, high thunderstorms that extend way up in the atmosphere. These hot towers actually are feeding on that heat that's coming from the ocean. We want to avoid those areas because those are typically where the worst turbulence and the worst weather is.
This is like a minefield out here. We have to do a fair amount of diverting to avoid the worst of it.
All right, here we go. It's like being inside of a ping pong ball.
You are choosing the lesser evil and the least dangerous in a dangerous situation. Once you're in it, once you're truly committed, you don't have control. You can only react.
We're 60 miles outside of the alley.
This is inherently dangerous. As a father and as a husband, that weighs on me. What is that drawing of?
That's the lightning.
Lightning and a bad storm?
Yeah.
When you're young, you make decisions based on your ambitions. As life goes on and you add a family to that equation, everything that I do, I think about how it's going to impact them. Because Daddy's airplanes stay okay in those big storms, don't they?
Yeah, looks like it's going to be just on the northeast tip of that island for the eye. This is the eye. Well, there's over hurricane force.
Colonel Pierce is now only 15 miles from the hurricane's eye and only moments away from hitting the most dangerous part of the storm, the eye wall.
The crew needs to be on their toes. We're in what they call the final run-in, so we're about to penetrate the eye wall.
Normally, the strongest and most deadly winds are right near the eye wall, within maybe 20 miles of the hurricane eye. The eye wall is really like a solid wall of water.
You have the heaviest concentration of rain, you've got lightning, microbursts, severe turbulence, and I can't afford to let these things catch me by surprise.
Grab on to something and hold on for dear life.
Hang on.
As we punch through the eye wall, right then, for us to get a warning at that moment was extremely unnerving. Are we in control?
Into their mission, the hurricane hunters have just entered the most dangerous part of Hurricane Irene, the eye wall.
To get a warning at that moment was extremely unnerving, especially for it to be associated with a fire that far out over the water.
Continue operation. And just make sure you get pressure there around the bushers. Good. All right, it extinguished. We don't see or smell anything.
Was actually a false indication, but with that level of a warning, especially with anything associated with fire, it was extremely stressful.
Pierce and his crew still have to get through the eye wall.
You are focused on the matters at hand at that moment. I guarantee you that.
Into the center now. We came in the back door here. That's right.
Once you've made that penetration across the eye wall, to see that type of picturesque environment, I was in awe.
You can see it on the left. She's got some high clouds, that's for sure.
This is where we either succeed or fail at locating the dead center of the eye.
My job is to figure out where that is to give guidance to the pilots which way we should go to get to that spot. We want to do it fast, or else we're going to miss it.
as you get closer and closer. And then there's a point where theoretically it would go Cobb and then switch direction. The whole idea is to fly over that place where it's Cobb. Take 15 right, please. 15 right.
You want to be as accurate as possible, because if you're off by 20 or 30 miles and you run the model, you may be off on your position or where the storm is by several hundred miles.
As Talbot guides the plane closer and closer to Irene's center, the crew prepares an instrument called a drop song.
Heather, are we ready? Song is being loaded into the launch kit.
It is this instrument that will record the all-important data to help predict Irene's path.
Okay, we'll go down to 2 knots. And with the shift in. Got it. All right, let's mark it here, fix it here, and release on that one. Soft away.
Falling at 2,500 feet per minute, the sonde constantly measures the storm's air temperature, wind direction, barometric pressure, and other key indicators.
Got good data on the sonde. That picture is really good.
Initial data indicate that Irene is still a strong Category 3 hurricane. To properly predict Irene's path, the crew needs to get at least 3 more readings.
We've got to go through all 4 sides of the storm first.
So Colonel Pierce and the crew must exit the storm in order to re-enter from another quadrant.
You got about 20 miles till we get to the outer band.
As we reach the outer bands, just as you begin to relax, new surprise for the day.
We're still seeing hurricane force winds all the way out to the 100-mile point.
We had winds about 120 miles an hour, so it's a very large storm.
Inside a hurricane, typically the deadliest winds extend only tens of miles outside the eye. With Irene, the hurricane force wind field extends 100 miles out.
So since this wind field is so large, they're going to start feeling hurricane force winds before it even gets to them. That's a big deal.
We're about to face something that could be catastrophic.
After 12 hours flying Irene, the hurricane hunters are now on their last pass into the storm's eye. Ready to drop their last sonde, this one will confirm Irene's path.
Release sonde now, fix it here. Sonde away. Good data on the sonde. Got an updated position. It's going up the coordinates 26.7, 77.2.
Direction now is moving north.
Based on data from the aircraft, the National Hurricane Center in Miami narrows the cone of uncertainty and forecasts that Irene will travel a more northern route than expected.
Their forecast is for it to intensify to about 120 miles an hour. It's starting to make that more northerly move.
Which is good news for Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Latest update we have just came out on the package. They've moved the track just a little bit to the west, north of us.
We were very fortunate that she turned just enough and went north. We dodged something pretty big. If it had not been for the information provided by the hurricane hunters, who knows? But the people up north, they have got to stay on top of this. They cannot take their eyes off of it.
In about 24 hours or 36 hours, it gets close to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, passes over that as maybe a Category 3 hurricane. They take it up to pretty close to New York City as a Category 1 hurricane. This isn't very good news at all for the Northeast.
Good evening. This is Bill Reed from the National Hurricane Center with the 5 p.m. update on Hurricane Irene. The onset of the tropical storm conditions are already in North Carolina. It'll be another 24 hours before the backside of this storm exits there.
The hurricane hunters' data will turn out to be spot on. A few days later, Irene makes landfall on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, then heads up the East Coast, making landfall in New Jersey and Brooklyn as a strong tropical storm. From there, Irene continues on to the New England states, causing the worst flooding in over 100 years. But successfully predicting Irene's path has a deeper meaning for Colonel Pierce.
To me, it was a day of discovery. That just made me really ready to get back out there and do it again.
He's got his first penetration. He did a great job. It's nice and refreshing to know when somebody comes in that's really a greenhorn at what we do, that has that confidence, and he's there. He is one of us. Well, sir, for your first flight, first penetration in the storm, congratulations.
All right.
There you go. You got your first pen.
Number one.
Number one.
I've had a number of challenges in my career, but I will say that this is at the pinnacle. What a fantastic group of people, and what an exciting mission to be a part of. I can see why people never leave this organization, because where would you go after this?